In this video, I'd like to tell you my personal story, how I got rid of brain fog in just 2 months. I'm going to mention one therapy that I think was specifically responsible for me getting better. So please watch this video to the end to find out which therapy it was. I will turn 39 at the end of this year. So a couple of years ago, I noticed that I wasn't as sharp mentally as I used to be. I used to be able to multitask, read, write, talk to my daughter, answer the phone at the same time. All of a sudden, that was all gone. Not only I wasn't able to multitask, I couldn't concentrate. I would walk into the room completely forgetting why I even walked into that room. Forget about finding your keys or where you put your phone. I couldn't find words and I couldn't put words into sentences, and that was really scary. But most importantly, it was interfering with my work. I read a lot of medical research. It helps me stay up to date in current trends in medicine. I'm a naturopathic doctor. And it used to take me a couple of hours to get through the article in detail. While recently I noticed that instead of 2 hours, it's taking me 2 days, and I cannot retain information. I cannot remember what I just read. That was really scary. I started to think what it could be, why all of a sudden I'm losing my mental sharpness, until I realized that this is exactly brain fog of perimenopause, because the hormones are changing and they affect how our brains function. Naming the problem is always half the battle. When you know what you're dealing with, it becomes a lot easier to come up with a comprehensive treatment plan that will help you overcome the problem. So once I realized that it was brain fog of perimenopause, I had to come up with a plan. I had to go back to where I were in my 30s or even early 40s, but not how I felt after 45, completely losing my mind, as if it felt that it's not my body anymore. I didn't want that. I started with nutrition. I always start with nutrition when I work with my patients. So it made sense that I started with nutrition when I had to treat myself. I eliminated all processed foods, all sugar, all alcohol. I wasn't drinking to start with, but if you are drinking alcohol, please get rid of it, because it really affects how we function mentally. It really affects our mental focus. I made sure that I followed a really good eating plan all the time. I also found that intermittent fasting, not eating for 14 to 16 hours in a day, really increased my sharpness and my mental focus, especially in the morning hours when I was still fasting. Then I looked at the supplements that I could take that will help me focus better. I found hosperidin A and phosphatidylserine especially helpful as nootrops, and I'm taking it on a daily basis. I might miss a day on Saturday or Sunday when I'm not working, and it's not really affecting my mental focus, but I do take it continuously. Methylene Blue is another supplement that I found, again, really helpful to help me concentrate. And then I had to use therapies that are known to increase blood flow to the brain, to decrease inflammation, and to heal blood-brain barrier. From my knowledge and from my understanding, there were 2 therapies, or rather 3 therapies, that were specifically helpful in achieving that. First and foremost, hyperbaric oxygen therapy. It's a treatment inside a hyperbaric chamber where we increase pressure that in turn increases the amount of oxygen that is available to cells and tissues. As you know, brain requires a lot of oxygen to function. We need oxygen to produce energy. With age, we become hypoxic. We suffer from lack of oxygen, either because of the trauma or previous infection, because of our breathing practices, or because we live in a big polluted city where the oxygen concentration of the air is not optimal. All of that leads to hypoxia, even if it's light hypoxia, it will affect how our brain functions. So I used hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which helped me increase blood flow to the brain, flood it with oxygen to help with nerve tissue regeneration, brain cell regeneration. And I've noticed that when I was inside a hyperbaric chamber and for 24 hours after the session, I would be able to do a lot more mental work than without hyperbaric treatments. To add to that benefit, I was also using red light therapy. I used targeted red light therapy. I used it in my neck area, in the area of cervical spine, but also on my head. Again, to increase blood flow to the brain, more blood flow, more nutrients, and decreased inflammation, which helps to heal that blood-brain barrier. I should add here that a lot of women in their perimenopausal and menopausal years get brain fog, especially recently, because of the infections that they might get that coincide from that period of their life. So when we have an infection like COVID, plus declining hormones, that could wreak real havoc in the nervous tissue, in the brain and brain stem area, and we need to correct that. Hyperbaric therapy and red light therapy are especially effective in doing that. I also used technology that's called Brain Tap, and you can learn more about it in my previous videos. There are also links in the description. So Brain Tap uses sound, vibration, and light therapy that affects our eyes and our ears, and through eyes and ears, it works on the brain tissue to help it regenerate. And the last thing that I did, I looked at my sleep. Have you noticed that you're not your best if you haven't slept well the night before? Well, it's true for anybody, whether you're a man or a woman, whether you're in perimenopause or in your golden years, maybe you're 60 or maybe you're just 15. You need to get a good night's sleep to function well mentally and physically. Again, because of the perimenopause, because of the changing hormones, my sleep was affected as well. I was waking up way earlier than I used to. So solution for that for me was to go to bed earlier, to make sure that I'm still getting the 7 to 8 hours of sleep that help my body rest and regenerate at night during sleep. And of course, good night's sleep improves brain fog. In terms of timelines, I've introduced all the therapies at once. So I started to eat better. I started to make sure that I incorporated intermittent fasting into my routine. I started to take supplements. Nootropics were not the only supplements that I took. I took other supplements for other issues, like probiotics, for example, and I would take digestive enzymes, but these were separate from brain fog issue. I also used continuously hyperbaric oxygen therapy. I did it every day. I did 60 to 90 minute sessions at 1.3 atmosphere of pressure, and I used supplemental oxygen. On my channel, you can watch tons of videos about hyperbaric oxygen therapy and how to improve health with hyperbaric oxygen therapy, so you can get familiar with therapy itself and with the technology. And I refer to hyperbaric chambers. I did red light 3 to 4 times a week, and I tried to use Brain Tap every day. I would miss a day here and there, but I tried to be consistent. In my opinion, all these approaches, all these therapies worked integratively. They worked together. I'm sure that hyperbarics probably had the most effect because it significantly increased the blood flow to the brain, helps us produce more stem cells, it helps us regenerate nerve tissue, and it brings down inflammation more than any other therapy. But were I to use hyperbaric therapy alone, would I get the same results? Well, I haven't tried, so I can't tell you for sure. But in my opinion, no. It's the integration of different therapies, nutrition, good quality sleep, supplements, movement, of course, making sure that you move and exercise, but don't over exercise because it will affect your sleep and it will increase inflammation. And adding therapies, natural therapies that are known to help get rid of brain fog. In 4 weeks, I was doing a lot better. In about 6 weeks, I was probably 70% better. And in about 2 months, maybe 2 months and a week and 10 days, I could say that I was feeling a lot better. My mental focus was better than it was before the whole brain fog issue started. I've realized how much better we can get when we live a healthy lifestyle and when we add natural therapies that help us improve our health, improve longevity, bring down inflammation, feel better, and look better. So I highly recommend those therapies always to people only if they're cleared to receive those therapies. Please keep in mind that while nutrition is widely available and anybody can eat healthy or anybody can make sure that they sleep well, when it comes to specific therapies like supplements and hyperbaric oxygen therapy and red light therapy, I always recommend to consult with a practitioner who would look at the whole picture and see whether these are the best therapies for you in your case. I really like this metaphor, this analogy, so to say. Imagine that every single person in the world would wear pants in size 10. Is that a good idea? I don't think so, because we're all so different. So these trousers, these pants, would only fit one person in 20. Same with those protocols, general protocols, they don't fit every single person. You need to get your individualized protocol from a practitioner. And if you don't have one, there's a link in the description. You can book a consultation with me and I will be absolutely delighted to help you put together a plan to get better and to get rid of brain fog that you might be experiencing. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you learned from this video. Please give us likes and please subscribe to our channel because it helps more people to see this content.